So I've been driving around the valley today, dropping off preview copies of the first issue of this new comic book series that we're publishing called San Hannibal. That wasn't a plug at all. The plugs will come in April when the thing's actually on sale for you guys. But anyway, so I'm going out to remote areas of the valley, visiting neighborhood comic book shops, talking to the owners and managers and whatnot. I'm out here on Blue Diamond Road, just passing Torrey Pines, headed east. For those of you who don't live in Las Vegas, if you look around me, there's nothing but desert. Well, that's what I mean by the edges of the valley. However, I walk into Cheese Boy Comics, which is at Rainbow and Windmill, which is as remote as that sounds. And I walk in, I say, "Wow, you guys are really far out here." And he says, "Well, if you live at Mountain's Edge, where it's just around the corner." And he had a really good point. It's all relative, right? Earlier, I was speaking with my friend Jay / Jay the intern, depending on how you know him. And Jay was telling me about how he really isn't familiar with anything west of Decatur Boulevard, which is only about 4 miles from Las Vegas Strip going west. And that basically his entire life is downtown. He lives downtown, he works downtown, and he plays downtown. Now that's the ideal, right? You live and work and play in the same area, which increases your enjoyment of living and working and playing in that area. But I guess it was weird to me because, you know, I've lived here in Las Vegas Valley for a total of approaching 25 years. And I've lived in all parts of it. I've lived in the Northwest, I've lived in Henderson, I've lived in Boulder City, I've lived at the lakes, I've lived in Summerlin, I've lived downtown, I've lived in the University District, I've been everywhere. And even though I spend most of my time downtown, you know, I'm hyper aware that that is the center of the city, that is literally, you know, the corner of Fremont and Main Street is 0-0. That is the middle of the city. So to me, you know, once you get outside of that ring, everything starts to become quote unquote far. So I understand where Jay's coming from. That being said, as the owner of Cheese Boy pointed out, you know, it's all relative. Out here, even though there is a lot of desert still, and the mountains are literally at the edge over here, there's a lot of houses, and there's a lot of apartments, and there is a lot of retail, a lot of chain restaurants, nothing but chain restaurants. And that means a lot of people live here, and there's a lot of traffic, which is also weird to me because I think, oh, I'm going out to like the outskirts and there's not going to be any traffic. No, there's no traffic downtown. I mean, there's people, but there's actually a wider variety of transportation modes being used. You see more people on bikes, scooters, and walking, and using the bus and whatever, mixed in with the heavy vehicular traffic, whereas out here in the burbs, it's all cars. If you see somebody walking, there's a problem. Their car broke down, or they're stranded, or whatever. So, I don't know. I don't know what my point was. That was just an observation, I guess, I was making, being all the way the heck out here at 8 miles from the center of things, which doesn't sound that far, I guess, unless you were in Detroit or New York. Because I think 8 miles in New York is more than the entire island of Manhattan, maybe? I don't know. Everything's relative. Everything's relative. When I was a kid, I lived at the lakes, and I thought that, like, everything south of Tropicana was, like, super crazy far, which now, of course, Tropicana is probably considered the middle of the city. But anyway, that's my thoughts on relativity and location. God, that was terribly boring, but that's what I was thinking about, so that's what you get to hear about. And if I shut up now, we'll make it in under 5 minutes. And I'm gonna go help out a friend who's stranded himself, needs a ride to pick up his car from the shop. So I'm gonna go do that because I'm a terrible friend, and then get back to doing the worky stuff. All right, peace out, suckers.